And we are live. Welcome to episode number 41 of From Ordinary to Extraordinary, where we get together every single week, same time, same place, right here, broadcasting simultaneously to Facebook and my friends on Instagram and my friends on Twitter. So thank you for joining and for tuning in. And today we're starting to talk about, or we're going to talk about the strategies of titans. Would you like to be a titan? Or if you're already a giant, would you like to be even bigger? Because let me promise you this, no matter where you are in your life and business right now, you're not even beginning to scratch the surface of your potential. So let's talk about how to take it to the next level. And before we get into that, let me ask you to interact here for just a little bit, because we're going to talk about success today and what titans do to be successful. So as you weigh in, which you always do, I'd like to ask you first and foremost to tell me who you are and say hello and where you're from, because this community is growing from around the globe continuously, and I'm always excited to come back after the fact and to look at who's here and where you're from. But also I want you to just put in the comments below for me, how do you define success? How do you define success? Because success is an enigma. So go ahead and just weigh in for me, say hello, and then put your definition of success. And I think we're going to see that there's a variety of definitions depending upon who you are and where you are. So how do you define success? Now, as we do that, I want to just talk about a few housekeeping items. And Bear, you can keep an eye on what's coming in. Make sure and check Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and I'll come back and we can read some of those definitions. This is episode number 41. So we've been at this for a long time, and if you're just joining for the first time, you're kind of behind. So if you'd like to catch up and see past episodes, really quickly go to jamesray.com, not now, but later, jamesray.com/live-cast, jamesray.com/live-cast, and we have a whole library there of every single episode, all the way back, 40 of them previous to today. So check that out for your own learning, advancement, and growth. We get together here every single week to talk about the psychology and the strategies of ultimate performance, uniqueness, genius, greatness, mastery, and how to take your life and business in multiples to the next level and beyond. So check those out. Also, if you're on Facebook, please write down here, just do your friends a favor and help me, help you, help those that you love and care about. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, you can tag someone that you care about. But right down here, just hit that share button. It's really easy, and help all of us grow this community around the world, people of a productivity and performance mindset, a growth mindset, people who absolutely are committed to their own development and growth. Just hit the share button. I appreciate that, and many of you do that every single week. And so I want to take a minute. Remember, the question is, how do you define success? Put it in the comments. We're going to come back to that. Bear, are they coming in? Have you seen some comments? Good. So she'll be giving them to me in just a minute, but let me do a shout out to those of you who shared last episode. William Maud, thank you. I think that's a new name. I don't know that I've seen you, William, but I'm really happy to see you. Hopefully you're here today, and thank you so much for sharing. Nicola Jenkins, I think that's a new name too. Thank you, Nicola or Nicola. L.A. Carter, not a new name, someone I already love and appreciate, and thank you for sharing as always. Nancy Winters, do I know who Nancy Winters is? Nancy Winters, she's probably here right now. Thank you, sweetheart. Mark Ocito. Mark, again, glad you're back. Anthony Rogers, as always, thank you for the messages exchange we had this week, and I'm glad you enjoyed the documentary, and it seemed to touch your heart, which was my objective. Nora Jones, hey Nora, thank you. Pauline One, thank you, Pauline. Tracy Egger, Of course, thanks for the comment on the blog. And here we are to start exploring some of those qualities of Titans, strategies of Titans. Sarani Suk Raini Ogotan. Sarani Suk Raini Ogotan. Man, that's a cool name. I'd like to say that 10 times real fast, but I'm not going to mess it up. But thank you so much for sharing. Sean Morse, Paul Campbell. Hey, bro, from Atlanta. I appreciate it. My friend Francisco, right in there as always. Raul Mahajan. Hopefully I said that right. Thank you, Raul. Jay Lee, man, you're coming through with a bullet. Keep it up. Sandy Arango, thank you. Pranav, Hanaro, Jaote Arura, Russ Litow, Tommy Atlanta Rains, thank you. Did I miss it? Alan, Atlas, Alan, Tommy, Atlas, Ellen Rains. Thanks for sharing those last names. All of you share frequently, and I really, truly appreciate that. So, Bear, what do we got about how success is defined real quickly? Is this real quickly?
We got one from Cottonwood Stone. Success is fulfillment, doing what I love.
Success is fulfillment, doing what I love, from Cottonwood Stone. What else we have?
Russ Litow. I have an acronym I use, FFCH, fun, fulfilling, challenging, and fun.
Fun, fulfilling, challenging, and fun. I think that was redundant, Russ. Okay, what else we got?
Jay Lee, I define success as a breakthrough after the struggle of breaking out of the cocoon of life's challenges.
Oh, using metaphors, Jay Lee. That's my job, man. Come on. Good. Hopefully you're hearing Bear. Go ahead. What else we got?
Tracy Egger, living who I am with passion and purpose.
Living who I am with passion and purpose.
Jonah Levonen, success is satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Okay, we could go on, but obviously we can see here real quickly there's a lot of different definitions about what success is. Now, put this in your notes, please. It's not what you do that determines your success, wealth, and fulfillment. It's how you do it. Did you get that? It's not what you do that determines your success, wealth, and fulfillment. It's how you do it. Now, obviously, by all these different definitions, success is an enigma. A lot of people, and this community is a little unique. I know we didn't read all the responses, but a lot of people think success is making a lot of money and acquiring a bunch of things. And, that's okay. I'm not against making money or utilizing things by any means. But what I can promise you is that I coach and speak with people almost every single week of my life, sometimes daily, who make a lot of money and they don't feel successful. And they're not really fulfilled. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, I'd like to try that one, James. Let me try it, because if I can make a lot of money, I will be successful and fulfilled. And I will tell you straight up, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because success is not about money, it's about meaning. Life is not about money, it's about meaning. It's not about materialism, it's about meaning. And I'm not anti any of those things, at all. On the contrary, I'm pro making enough money and having the things you need, not necessarily what you want, but the things that you need to fulfill your purpose in life. And so, point is that success is an enigma, because we get all these different definitions even here in this community. I can promise you this, and this might be another one for your notes, you're truly successful the minute you take one step in the direction of your own choosing. Now understand the nuance there. It's not when you get to the outcome of your choosing. You are successful the minute you take one step in the direction of your own choosing. Now, your own choosing is more difficult than it seems. Because let me just ask you this real quickly, and this is audience participation day, so you can type real quickly down below. If I were to give you a brand new car, and it was totally paid for, no taxes, nothing, totally paid for, and it was yours, and you had two choices between a BMW 7 Series or a Bentley, which would you choose? And you may say, well, James, I'm not big on either one of those cars. That's okay, but you only have the choice between the two. Which would you choose, the BMW or the Bentley? And I'll come back down. Are we getting any responses on that one? Quickly? Not yet. I know there's a delay. So I'll come back after the fact and look at your response. Just type it below. BMW or Bentley. Well, the fact is, they're both pretty much the same car. They're both owned by BMW. And if you look at the BMW 7 Series and the Bentley Ghost, I believe it's called, they're almost the identical same car. They're on the same chassis. The engine is almost similar. Now, some of the accoutrements are a little different, but the 7 Series, I haven't priced it for a long, long time, but you can get it for like $70K, which is an investment, and the Bentley is about $250K. But they're almost the exact same car. And so, what's my point? My point is, most people in today's world would choose the Bentley. And so I would ask, why? And this goes back to my initial statement of you are successful the moment you take the first step in the direction of your own choosing. If you would choose the Bentley, why? Well, the reality is you choose it because you've been conditioned that it's more prestigious. You've been conditioned that it's cooler. You've been conditioned it's a better car. Not really. It's almost the exact same car. It's called marketing. It's called conditioning. You follow me here? Now, so my point is that choosing for yourself is much more difficult and much more complex than we often understand. Why? Because you, like me, have been programmed, you've been conditioned, you've been socialized into thinking certain things are cool, certain things are sexy, certain things are attractive, certain things are valuable. And is that really your choice? Or is it your conditioning? It's not an easy answer. And if you think it is, then think again. You see, a truly wealthy and successful life is a fulfilling life. Cottonwood, you're on the right track. It's a fulfilling life. Everything else is folly. Everything else is folly, and it's a waste of a finite amount of your precious time. Tick-tock. Each of us, you and me, have a finite amount of time in this life, and it is finite, and therefore you have no moment to waste. No moment to waste. Tick-tock. Right? Let me repeat. A successful and wealthy life is a fulfilling life. Everything else is folly. Now, what we're doing here in the Strategies of Titans is we're beginning a series. I've not done this in From Ordinary to Extraordinary before. So we're going to see how this rolls. But over the next 7, including this week, it'll be 8 weeks, because I'm going to introduce you to 7 strategies of Titans. And today is the overview. And I'm going to give you all 7 today and let you kind of ruminate with them for a while. And then every week we'll come back and take one of them and dive deeper. Is that a cool idea? You like that idea? And so you're going to want to tune in. You're going to want to be here because we're going to cover what success really means. We're going to cover how to reach fulfillment. We're going to cover how to live the life that you desire and deserve, because you only get one chance. You only get one. And you know this. I'm not telling you things you don't already know. We don't like to think about it. But life is not getting any longer. It's just not. So you better make the best of every single moment, every single day. Put this in your notes. Success without fulfillment is not success at all. It's not. And let me promise you, again, regardless of what you've been conditioned to believe, I talk to 6- and 7-figure income earners all the time who feel lost. They feel like they've climbed the ladder of what society has conditioned us to be success, and they realize the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. Is this all there is? What's my purpose? Where do I go from here? My life is getting shorter, not longer. Tick-tock. Right? So, how do you reach your potential? How do you find fulfillment? How do you get into focused flow? Because I promise you, if you're going to be a true titan, you've got to get into flow. You must find your flow. And as I've told you a moment ago, the 7 strategies I'm going to introduce you to are based upon research that is proven to bring focus, flow, and fulfillment. Now, if you're not familiar with the term flow, it's a very high cognitive state. It's a spiritual state. It's a meditative state. But it's lucid. It's not where you're sitting and disengaging from the world, but you're fully engaged. You're fully engaged in the world, and there's something coming through you that is much more magnificent and much more powerful and much more infinite than you. And if you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been there, then you want to get there. And I'm going to share with you the research-based strategies, 7 of them, to get you to the place of flow so that the results you produce are phenomenal and the fulfillment that you feel is unstoppable. Interested? Now, this research comes from the professor Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Say that name fast 3 times, right? I had to practice that one for a long time before I ever talked to him on the phone. When I did talk to him on the phone, I nailed it, and he was like, "Wow, that's kind of interesting. You can call me Mike." And I'm like, "No, I got it. It's Mihai. All right, I got it down." Because if you look at how it's spelled, you can't sound it out phonetically. He's a distinguished professor of psychology and management at Claremont Graduate University, and he is the man. He is the expert on this idea of flow. And he coined the term flow, but if you go back to William James, who's the father of modern psychology, he called it a mystical state. And if you look at Maslow called it a peak state. And if you now fast forward to Csikszentmihalyi, he calls it flow. So it's not new. He's just coined it and he's broken it down as to exactly how to get there. And his research is extensive. It was conducted with over 150,000 people from over 150 countries around the world. Now, I know we have a large international audience here, and I'm really excited about that. So, it may have been conducted in your country also. Over 150,000 people, 150 countries around the world. And by the way, Gallup, who you know is a leading research organization, one of, if not the, on the globe, has also done research and has done it in 150 countries as well to prove, get this, no matter where we live in the world, the human motivators and the drivers, the things that we deeply want and desire, are the same. No matter where you live in the world, the human motivators and drivers are the same. So in this week's overview, I'm going to give you the 7 strategies of Titans. Okay? And you know me, it's going to be very difficult for me not to dive into each one of them. I just want to give you an overview for you to grab for your notes and to start thinking about, and we're going to go really deep into number 1 next week. Okay? And then over the next several not successful, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank. Not series either, but anyway, it's a series, and over the next several weeks, then we're going to go into each one. This is live. We're going to go into each one in succession. That was the word I was looking for. Succession. Okay. We'll come back. We'll flesh them out, and we'll dive deeper. And if you have questions, as always, put them in the comments below. If you're on Twitter, I know that's a little more difficult, or Instagram, you can jump over to Facebook, and I continually answer and dive deeper on those mediums. Okay? These are specific examples, and we're also going to get into specific examples of titans from a variety of industries and different areas of mastery and craft, and how they utilize these and have practiced these to become masterful in their life. Sound interesting? I promise you it is. And so we're going to get into specific examples as well as the strategies. If you want to create an extraordinary life, this is certainly one for your notes. Let me start it again. If you want to create an extraordinary life, right? Do you? Then here's how you do it. You've got to think, feel, and act. I call that going 3 for 3. You've got to think, feel, and act in direct opposition of where the masses are going. If you want to create an extraordinary life, then you've got to think in the exact opposite way. You've got to act in the exact opposite way of how the mass majority think and act. So, if the masses say Bentley, you say BMW in that example, right? If the masses say get more money, you say, no, get more meaning. And let the meaning drive the money. Let the money follow the meaning. If the masses are watching an average of 4 hours a day of television, then you don't do that. Okay? If the masses, and here I go, I'll get ahead of myself. If the masses are, here's what the latest research tells us, spend 5 hours a day scrolling, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? Did I just bust you? 5 hours, oh, that's not me, James. Okay, well, it may not be you. I hope it's not. Check it out. 5 hours a day scrolling, then you don't do that. Right? Am I anti-social media? Hell no, I'm on social media, for God's sakes. I love social media, and you got to discipline yourself. You've got to use it judiciously, right? You've got to tune into the things that are going to bring value in your life, and cat videos don't do that. I'm sorry. All right? So stop it. Most of the things I see posted on social media are just complete bullshit and utter waste of time. And is it any wonder that we don't hit flow? Is it any wonder that we don't even scratch the surface of our potential? That's my rant. If you want to create an extraordinary life, you have to do the exact opposite of what you see most people doing. In fact, there's an esoteric axiom called the law of reversal. It goes all the way back to Hermetics, which predates Egypt. I'm not going to even share it with you here today because it's not the purpose of today, but this is not my idea. This has been around for a long, long time. Figure it out. Law of reversal. Figure it out. All right? The exact reverse of what everybody else is doing. If people are charging forward in a certain direction, you go the other way, right? Because you're probably going the right way. Those who follow the masses get absolutely lost in the masses. All right, you ready for the 7 strategies? Here they are. Write these down because I'm going to ask you some questions about it. Remember, this audience participation week, and I'm going to ask you to answer a question at the end here in the comments. All right? 7 strategies of Titans. I'm going to give you all 7. Number 1, a goal, a task, or an intention that you have the skills to accomplish. Notice how I punctuated certain words. A goal, task, or intention that you have the skills to accomplish. Now that's tough because society again is telling you to go after something, go after certain things. Certain things are valuable, fast fame and easy money, and that's not necessarily your thing. Okay, we're going to get more deeply into that one next week. And if you've been following me for a while, dare I say self-awareness. We talked about this. Number 2, full and complete immersion and concentration on the task at hand. Now, let me ask you, to be really honest here, how many times have you checked your email? How many times have you checked one of the other social platforms? How many times have you gotten out of focus while we've been talking here for about 25 minutes? Then you're not in flow. Because number 2 says you got to be fully immersed and concentrated on one task at a time. Multitasking is so 90s. Okay? Number 3, your goal must be clear and measurable. You have to have a super clear and measurable goal. I've been working with my Prometheans, members of my Prometheus Academy of Life and Business Acceleration, around this idea of specificity and clear and measurability for the last couple of weeks. And it's not something that you're trained or conditioned to do. Most people don't get where they need to be, choose to be, can be, because they really are not specific and clear enough. Number 4, is you have to have immediate feedback on performance. We're going to get into what's called feedback loops. There's a lot of research on feedback loops, and I'm not going to talk about it here today. That'll be in episode number 4 in this series. Number 5, remove all interruption and distraction. You have to remove yourself from every single interruption and distraction, and that's not an easy task in today's world. And you, like me, know that that's true. Number 6, if you can't do it and won't do it, you'll never hit flow. And if you'll never hit flow, you're operating on your own power, not on infinite power and ability. You'll never be as creative as you can potentially be. Number 6, you must feel a degree of control over, this is key, your actions. Now look, control of the universe is ludicrous. There are those who want to tell you can control the universe. All right, yeah, knock yourself out. Yeah, go see if you can stop the rain. All right, or the wind. You can't control the universe. The only thing you can control are your actions and your responses. So there's some nuances here that we're not going to get into today, but that's number 6. You have to feel some degree of control or a larger degree of control over your actions. Now, if you reflect back on the top 5, the first 5 that we've already been through, then you'll realize that maybe, reflecting back on those, they have something to do with number 6. Number 7, and this is one that will scare the living hell out of you. Okay? And guess what? Let me promise you this. If you're not scared shitless, you're not doing anything great. Your job is to be scared out of your mind. Because you never are comfortable when you're setting records. The only time you're ever comfortable is when you're doing repeats. Are you with me on this? And so, number 7, big number 7, is you must have and be involved in a high consequence activity. Now, this is, again, based on research, 150,000 people, 150 countries. You must be in a high consequence activity. Now, if you're into extreme sports, that may mean you're putting your life on the line. I'm not suggesting that. You're probably not into extreme sports. If you are, that's awesome. It's pretty impressive. But you don't have to put your life on the line, but you got to put something big on the line. There have to be high consequences, like paying rent, or like paying the bills, or like they're going to shut off the utilities, or like, if this doesn't come through for me, I may go down. That's the kind of consequences we're talking about, and that's what puts you into the flow state. And I'm telling you that if you're not scared out of your mind, you're not doing anything great, because everything great takes that. It takes that. Now, next week, we'll dive more deeply into number one, which is a goal or intention that you have the ability to achieve, the skills to achieve, right? We'll talk more about that next week. In the meantime, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Write down these questions. I'm going to ask you to really think. This is your growth opportunity. Okay, because it's not what you hear that transforms your life. It's not what you know that transforms your life. It's what you do with what you know that transforms your life. And so, number one, write this down. If you had to define in your terms, in your own mind, these 7 strategies that I've just given you today, how would you define them? Number 2, do you currently have them in your life to a large degree? Number 3, how truly successful and fulfilled do you feel right now? And by the way, there's no value in lying to yourself. All right? If you lie to yourself, then how can you even trust yourself, much less trust anyone else? If you lie to yourself, how can the universe bless you? How can other people bless you? Because you're just living a lie. So let's be really brutally, ruthlessly honest here. How truly successful and fulfilled do you feel right now in your life? Number 4, what has to happen for you to feel even more fulfillment? You might say, well, James, I'm pretty fulfilled right now. Yeah, congratulations. Me too. I am too. And would I like to have more? You bet I would. Do you think I could get more? I think I could. All right? So how would it feel to have even more fulfillment? And then number 5, and this is what I'm going to ask you to answer. Literally answer. And this is in the form of making a commitment. It's really important and powerful to make a commitment publicly, because it puts leverage on you. When you make a public commitment, then people see that commitment, and if they really love you and care about you, they're going to hold you to it. All right? And you're more likely to hold yourself to it. So question number 5, in relation to these things we've explored here today, the 7 strategies, and how you define them, and whether or not you have them, and how fulfilled you feel right now, and could you have more fulfillment in your life? Here's the question. What specifically must you do differently? Okay? Answer in the comments. What specifically, if you're on Instagram, you can send me a PM. What specifically must you do differently in your life or business? Well, I should do better. That's not specific. All right? Specific. Remember, one of the 7 strategies we talked about was specificity. I must get up an hour earlier every day. All right, that's one thing. I must read every single day. Okay, that's one thing. That's specific. Those qualify. What specifically must you do? I must work out 3 days per week for at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That's specific. I must spend 1 hour, get off the Facebook scroll and spend 1 hour of quality time with each of my children, at least once a week. Quality time. Quality time is not defined as watching the same television program, excuse me. So, that specific quality time, actually talking. I'm going to send my son a text. No. No. Talk, right? That's specific. So what specifically must you do differently? And I'm being somewhat facetious here, but in relation particularly to the 7 strategies we talked about earlier. Now, I hope I've given you some things to think about. I'm really excited about this series because I know the difference it's made in my life and in the life of my clients. Before I sign off here today, I just want to tell you, if you notice, that I have an opportunity for you. If on Facebook, it's right above my head. Just click the link. My new book, Redemption, The Price of Leadership, is coming out shortly, and you have an opportunity to pre-order a personally signed copy from me, which I would love to sign one to you. And you also have an opportunity to enter a contest to have dinner with me at a great Italian restaurant here in Los Angeles, and it's all on me, including the airline ticket. So just click the link on Facebook here above. If you're Instagram, go to my bio, and on Twitter, I think we have it above my head as well, right? On Twitter. So on Twitter, just click it there, and you can enter the contest, and you can grab the book for a signed copy, and I would love to have dinner with you. Hopefully I've given you some things to think about. And until we speak again, as always, thanks for being here. Stay awake, love life, and be epic.